Hello and welcome back. Today is December the 6th, Canadian National Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. In this video, we're going to start exploring complex relationship between trauma and mental health. We're going to start with talking about cycle of abuse, continue with 10 early warning signs in the relationship that may predict future domestic violence, and conclude with few practical steps that you can take if you or your friend find themselves in abusive relationship. My name is Dr. Ruben Gagarin. I'm your favorite family psychiatrist. So let's begin. You may ask, why December the 6th? This is to commemorate a tragic event that happened that day at École Polytechnique in Canada in 1989. That day, a male individual, I don't want to mention his name, stormed into a classroom, separated male and female students while shouting anti-feminist and misogynistic slogans, and then he proceeded to massacre 14 female students while injuring others. Then he killed himself. It appears as if, at least on the surface, his act was mainly driven by a female threat to traditionally male-dominated engineer profession. Interestingly, the International Day is on November the 25th. That is to commemorate a politically motivated assassination of 3 Mirabal sisters in Dominican Republic in 1960. In this video, we're going to start talking about domestic violence that unfortunately happens every day, so any day of the year can be a day against violence. Let's talk about cycle of abuse. You can imagine that most of the relationships don't start with going out with abusive, violent jerk. So most of us try to find a partner who is understanding, caring, willing to listen to us. We start so-called honeymoon stage, when everything seems to be all right. We hope that this is going to continue. However, in some relationships, we start experiencing tension building. We try to adjust our behavior to deal with irritability or some mood swings. We hope to return back to the honeymoon stage, but instead it may progress to a blow-up, some sort of incident of aggression. It could be physical, it could be emotional or sexual. After that, the abuser tends to go back and try to reconcile with us. They may be very apologetic. However, if you listen very carefully, often underneath the superficial apology, you can still hear that somehow it is your fault. And then it moves on to another honeymoon stage, and everything seems to be all right. We want to believe that the cycle never going to repeat again. The important point about the cycle, it's a circle. It goes over and over again. Honeymoon, tension, blow up, reconciliation, honeymoon again. And every time when it repeats, the abuser feels more and more invincible, and then it typically affects the blow up that becomes bigger and more dangerous. None of us want to find ourselves in an abusive relationship. So why does it happen? It is because during the honeymoon stage, we may have missed some of the early warning signs, some of the red flags that may warn us about the future. I'm going to tell you 10 main warning signs, starting with a big red flag, that is control. That may come in very different shapes and forms. For example, one of my teenage patients, actually more than one, told me that they share their online passwords because they want to prove their partner that they're trustworthy. Well, guess what? If your partner doesn't trust you and they need your passwords for the proof, passwords is not going to save them. They're still not going to trust you. They're always going to feel threatened that you may be doing something that they're not aware of. And then they may start stalking you. They may control other areas of your life. Another patient told me that their partner demanded that they share their map location. What happens next? Next time, their partner sits in their apartment, checking their location, and then they call on them, asking why you're at this place or why you're at that place and who you are with. And then this control goes into isolation. They may start telling you who you should be hanging out with or not. And then this isolation makes your social communication less. You may not feel comfortable talking about your relationship with your friends, And at some point, it may happen that you may not have anybody to talk about your relationship, even if you are concerned. Another warning sign is substance abuse. You know, for all of us, when we use substances, our judgment goes down, and if your partner potentially abusive, when their judgment goes further down, they actually may act on it. The next one is unrealistic expectations. When you feel that you cannot fulfill the expectations no matter how hard you try. And then, as a consequence for that, you get a sort of shorter end of the stick when your partner gets angry with you, irritable, and blames you for not fulfilling this unrealistic expectations. Another sign of relationship not going the right way, when the partner starts moving the relationship quicker than you feel comfortable with. You may not feel that you know the person very well, but all of a sudden you feel that you have to step over the boundaries or make yourself uncomfortable, maybe move in with that person, maybe something else, that you feel that the relationship is moving way too quickly. There could be a warning sign. The fifth one is blaming others, also what we call externalizing blame. What that means is that I don't take responsibility for my action and I blame you for what happened. Especially when it comes to aggression or violence, all of a sudden you feel responsible for what your partner did. This is a big red flag. It may not necessarily be a result of aggression or violence. During the honeymoon stage, this is small things. Number 6 is unpredictable hypersensitivity, mood swings, and irritability. You may feel guilty, you may walk around that person on eggshells because you don't know when they're going to get angry at you. Number 7 is a history of violence. It may start with cruelty to animals or children. Your partner may tell you a story how they were accused of being bullies at work or school, and a huge red flag if someone obtained a restraining order against them. Even if they say that their previous girlfriend was so crazy that she manipulated the whole police department, all the officers that she met, to obtain the restraining order, you should be careful around that person. There may be good reason why someone else in the past obtained the order of protection against them. Number 8 is a verbal abuse. When you start noticing cruel jokes that hurt your feelings, maybe your partner makes comments about your looks, your weight, your intelligence, maybe they start calling you names, that is a huge red flag. Number 9 is extremely serious. That is when your partner may start using violence in arguments. They may break stuff, they may punch holes in the walls, they may make threats to your life or your well-being. Especially dangerous if someone grabs your throat. That may be a huge red flag that may indicate threat to your life. I'm going to finish with number 10. That is somewhat softer, but it is very important to talk about it. That is history of trauma. Most of the abusers, maybe all of them, they have a history of trauma themselves. That makes sense. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, why the abusers do what they do. Well, that is because they suffer trauma themselves. Why are they striving to control others? Because at some point when they were younger, they maybe witnessed domestic violence or were subject of violence when they did not feel in control. So now they feel that they have to control others. Maybe they witnessed their father physically abusing their mother, so they model that behavior and they feel that this is the only way. So as a result, the result of the trauma, they really don't know how to handle conflict or how to maintain their healthy boundaries. Another important point is that if they suffer trauma as children, they witnessed grown-ups, people in power, both physical and authority, ignoring their feelings. And as a result, they may grow up to become people without empathy. For example, that would happen to the person who committed massacre at École Polytechnique. He has a history of abuse by both of his parents, mainly his father. If you see these warning signs, these red flags, think of a cycle of abuse. If you notice the cycle of abuse as well, then you might need to run. There are 5 steps that you should take. Step number 1, protect yourself. Make sure that you are safe taking the other steps. Imagine if your partner is violent during day-to-day arguments, how furious and dangerous they may get if they discover that you're trying to leave their relationship. Number 2, confide to your trustful friend. Tell them about your situation. Make sure that you talk to them about potential plans and ensure their support. Number 3 is to prepare an escape bag. Put some clothes, some money, maybe identification in that bag. You may want to store it outside the home for obvious reasons, maybe at your friend's or relative's house. Make sure that you have phone numbers for crisis services, helplines, and especially emergency shelter, because going to your best friend's house after you leave the relationship may not be the best idea. If it is an emergency, call 911. The help may be just one phone call away. Well, this concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to my channel. More videos on mental health, trauma, and other troubling things coming up. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.